So, we go again, number 40 of the Darkness to Light Godcast. Welcome back, those who are joining me again. Jim McFadyen here from the Vortex Centre for Wellbeing, and it's this one is about, well, first of all, it's an anniversary, it's a birthday. It's been 1 year since we launched the programme. I'm not going to say it's hard to believe, which kind of is a normal thing to say, but it's been, it feels like about 5 years ago, if I'm being honest. The year we had last year and everything that went into it. And end of February was the launch of it, the official launch of the programme, which came on the back of probably 3 or 4 months of really intense and unexpected work from probably November, December time, right up until we kind of put everything together. And then the idea was to, gather all the information and the inspiration, obviously, but gather all the stuff that I'd been working on all these years and then put it together in some sort of between digital, written format that people could access. And in particular, in the beginning for me, the significant part was the recordings of the breathwork. That was a bit that I always used to get. I was asked almost every session at one point, where can we buy this? Where is can you download it? Is there any recordings of it? And with the exception of one person who sneakily recorded me a few years back at a Heal Scotland gig up in Edinburgh, there was never ever any recordings. So that was the main thing I was excited about, was the ability to be able to catch, the breathworks and the meditations, and so that people could get access to them when they left. Very difficult when you get on about this stuff and you come here. Whether it's a Friday night or a one-on-one, or whether you come to one of the open events or the free events, and you go through that experience, which is different every single time. It really is, and you'll get something different from it every single time. But then when you leave, it's like, right, okay, so where do we go from here? And so that was a huge part of it for me, and that was probably one of the major the catalyst for me to sign up with the team to basically, right, okay, let's see if we can do this. And it was 3 or 4 months of just really intense work. It was a fantastic time. It was an exciting time putting everything together, even for me documenting. I have written, I'm about 13,000 words into writing the programme. That was written off the back of the book. When I finished the book, and I decided I was going to. I finished it, but it's not yet. I've still not finished it. It's just a timing thing. People are asking for that as well. It's just a timing thing. There's a couple of chapters I'm going to rewrite, and there's another probably one chapter I want to add into it. And again, it's just a timing thing. But when I finished the book, first time around, or probably second time around, because I lost the whole thing. I wrote it over about probably 7-8 years, and I lost the whole thing, as well as everything, just what I'd ever done, thanks to Microsoft, which was an absolute nightmare a couple of years ago. So I had to rewrite it again. When I finished it for the second time, then I went straight on to write the programme. And I was probably, in the programme at the time, had about 90 different things that I teach. And most of them are, not all of them, but most of them are original to me. I've taken concepts from different teachers and from way back, some of them, and I've kind of tried to simplify them so that I can understand them, so that I can teach them, and so that anybody can get them. So we create shortcuts. That's the plan. That's what this work is all about for me. Like, how can you create that bridge, so that people can come in and get it much easier than the 18 years that it took me to really get to that place of mastery and enlightenment. The realisation of the divinity that was inside me. How can you get that quicker? Because we've not got that amount of time. Who's got 18 years now? It's things need to happen much quicker, it seems. So the plan was to basically write the programme, take the best part of that year, which would be a couple of years ago, write the programme, and then probably release the book and the programme as a kind of a dual package. That might still happen. That might be the way that it needs to come out. I don't know. I'm still trying to work that one out a wee bit. It's been so busy the last year since we went online, and since all the programme came about, that everyone was kind of on pause, and really the way that it came through was really surprising to me, but at the same time it was absolutely blessed, the way that it happened and the way that it came about, and the way that we decided to launch it was one day to change your life. So again, that was an event I'd done probably half a dozen times in different ways for kind of small groups and kind of corporate primarily, but they would bring a group of 10, 20, 30 people in, and I would basically give them a snapshot of the whole system. Not just a case of coming here and getting through the breath work and getting into the cold or getting into the heat or learning meditation, but the real kind of behind the scenes of that, and really kind of explaining a wee bit about what it is and how it goes together. What I absolutely know is that when you just give somebody the experience and they don't know why they're doing it, or they don't really know how it goes together, then it doesn't really stick. Absolutely, the next part of that, whereas they go away and learn it for themselves and apply it into their own lives, we understand the 3 different levels of the brain, and how there's a certain process that needs to happen, to bring it into your life and to get the benefits from it. A lot of that stuff I absolutely done unconsciously over the years, where I would basically find the information, I would study the information, and I would apply the information into my life, or the inspiration into my life, and really, that's where mastery comes from. It's not just reading the books on any subject, and it's not just the learning of it, and then the practice of it is the next part, but to get to that place where it becomes like who you are, there's a real kind of time where you need to put the hours in, you need to put the time in, and that's based on a lot of it is your reasons and your why. But now knowing how it goes together is very important, so the idea of the programme and One Day to Change Your Life, now that it's the year anniversary, the next One Day to Change Your Life is March 1st. This is going out probably the day before. This will be going out the Friday, so Saturday, March 1st is One Day to Change Your Life. And the launch of V2 of the programme, as Michael was calling it, I don't really see it like that, I must admit. I think it's going to be like it's going to be evolving all the time, so if every time there was an evolution would they put a V next to it, it's just the programme, but there's been a load of different upgrades which I will talk about a wee bit, the kind of the new stuff that's going to be going into it, because we've taken it basically off the market for the last probably couple of months while we were working on some new stuff. And come Saturday, after One Day to Change Your Life, then it's going to be back available onto the market again. I'm going to be talking a lot on that day about the programme, what the programme actually is, and it's been great for me to recap and think about the last year as to where we've been and what we've done, and what the programme actually is. Because I asked all the time, what is the programme? What is it all about? What are you doing? And it's been fascinating to watch. The amount of people that have got round about it, that have basically a load that have signed up. A load of people basically kind of fell away from it, or didn't kind of continue and see it through for many different reasons, I do believe. So it's been a fascinating kind of learning curve for me, and watching people going about it, and my own journey with it over the last year. Last year nearly killed me. In fact, the disease that I'm feeling in my body just now, that I'm experiencing in my life, came as a direct result of what I basically put myself through last year with the creation of the programme and a desire to help people. That's changed. Anybody that's been watching this closely will know that that's changed for me very recently, in terms of the time that I'm putting into myself and basically getting on my own programme. And the benefits are already starting to come through. The healing is already starting to take place. I can feel it already. I'm starting to learn so much new information that I've actually learned before, but now I've got a real reason for learning it. The kind of the science of healing. The amount of information that's now out there with so many incredible scientists and teachers, and the amount of papers that are out there, and people like Joe Dispenza, talk about people like Greg Braden, who really I remember doing Joe Dispenza's his course back in 2016, really because somebody said to me it was teaching meditation, and I didn't really see him as that up to that point. And for a wee while, probably 2017-18, his morning meditation, the generous present moment, became a part of my daily practice, and I got a lot out of it. And I did learn the science behind it, and I did learn all the kind of the different levels to how the brain works and how the connections being made and what happens to the different systems within the body. It's fascinating. But now, because of the situation I'm in, again, you get a real reason for learning something, you'll go and learn it, which I'm doing just now, which again is part of the reason and the why. When people understand how it goes together and why it goes together and why you should be doing it, I think there's more chance of people that actually go, and when they leave, run about it and just take it with them, but then start to apply it practically into their life, so they get the most out of it. Yeah, so that's really important. So once the programme launched last February, it was really just a case of trial and error to see how it went. It never felt really finished. Whether it will ever feel really finished, this time around, where we're at just now with it, I'm really happy with it in terms of I think I now know what it is. At the start, as I said, it was all the information and the videos and the recordings, and which now there's hundreds of hours. There's live classes every week. For a period last summer, there was probably 4 or 5 months, but it was every single day, every morning, 5:30 in the morning. It was live. I was in here at 4 in the morning doing my sound checks and preparing for the lives every single day. It was 7 days a week. I was doing probably 6 days a week, and then the team were probably hosting one a week. Or if I was away somewhere, whatever, or working away, then they would step in. But we managed to record, I would say, 99% of all the stuff that was done during that period. So that now we have, a bank of recordings for everything. How to get to sleep, how to wake up, how to go to bed, how to empower yourself, how to upregulate the nervous system, how to switch it off. There's so many different recordings on there, and it's fascinating watching the people that are on the programme, that their own, what their favourite ones are, and who really needs what. At the time when I stopped doing them, that period of 5 months, at the time there was people needing one thing and some were needing another. Some were looking for just straight meditation, some were looking for silent meditation, and other people were looking for like fire breath, like really powerful, generating massive stress in the system. So it was interesting just to watch, and that was one of the, I suppose, that when I started to realise that me trying to cater for everybody every single day, it was just too much, and it made me sick, if I'm honest with you. I was almost burnt out by that point. That was probably last November I stopped them, and I was almost burnt out. But the way that the year unfolded in terms of when we released the programme and the people that it attracted, and then obviously all the teething problems last year, and all we did achieve. It was really interesting to watch the learnings that took place from all of us, myself and the team, as to what it was and how it went together, and what our intentions were with it. And the programme itself, what is a programme? Well, for me, the programme that I share, the programme that I teach, there's a whole load. I haven't actually counted them up, because from having 90 in the beginning when I originally wrote it, I've made that a lot more minimal, it's a lot more easy to digest. But there's probably 40 or 50 different things within the programme that I actually teach as part of this system, which it was how I live basically my life. What I've learned to do over the last 28 years, with this intentional living. The programme is all about intentional living. It's all about, taking full responsibility, that ability to respond. It's all about self-reliance, so you don't need anybody. And once you learn the different ways that it goes together, once you learn how to breathe properly, with function, and learn how the nervous system works, once you learn how to breathe with intention, the intentional breath, that's my system, which is all about going inside. It's not just like learning the modalities and somebody take you through the guided breath work. It's not about that, because once we do that, there's a very specific intention behind it, and that's to reconnect back into yourself. The intention is to reconnect back into the true self, back into your heart and back into your soul. That's the intentional breath. So once you get into that place, once you start to feel and experience, the benefits that I have, so not just your physical body and your emotional body, but the benefits that it has to your heart, the benefit that it literally has to your soul in terms of how it uplifts you, then at that point, there's loads of different things that you need to be able to know so you can start to bring it into your life. So I teach basic stuff in a way that anybody can understand it, but the basic way the basic way of how it goes together is really, really simple, but it's no easy to apply into your life. And I say often that your life is going to be your greatest teacher once you know about this stuff. So things like awareness, the power of awareness, which this whole thing is all about awareness. The programme is a starter for 10. Once you go through the kind of reset and reconnect, which is going to happen on Saturday, people come to One Day to Change Your Life, that's a real snapshot of all the different stuff that I teach. But once you get that, at that point, then when you go back to your life the next day and the next week, at that point, then the work really begins. It's easy for me and it's easy for them to come in and for me to give the experience. Great, fantastic, and it'd be great if I could do that for them every single day. But the way that I coach people is again, yesterday somebody phoned up looking for an extended block of coaching, and that's not what I do. There's a real the way that I've learned how to do it, the way that I work best for me. And way back in the day, I would go and see somebody, every week at some point, and it was like a band-aid, and you find that a lot with people that go to like life coaches every single week, or they go to a therapist every single week. It's a chance to go in and talk about how shite your life is, and then they'll make it better for you in a really short period of time, and you get the band-aid and you walk out, you feel better, and you're looking forward to the next week and another 50 quid. That's kind of how it works, where it's basically this repetition of, at a place where, for me, all coaching should be to get people to a place where they don't need you. That's what it should be all about. Again, that's that self-reliance. So when I decided to, open the Vortex back in 2016, I decided I wasn't going to do it that way. I'm not a life coach. I'm really not. I believe myself. I remember right back in the day, I used to say I was a dream coach. I would help people fulfill their potential and realise their dreams. That's certainly what it was about for me. How you get to that place of, if somebody's telling you what to do, number one, I tell them to fuck off, because who knows what's right for you? From an intellectual perspective, possibly, but you see this with almost every single coach. They see what's worked for them, and then they tell you what they did and expect you to go and do that, and it's like, that doesn't work, because we're all different. We've all got our own intentions. We're all here for our own life's journey. We all have, different desires and different life circumstances, that we need to basically navigate before we even think about working on ourselves. So for me, the programme and the way that it was put together came on the back of me realising that, the stuff that I do and the thing that makes me happy, that's not for everybody, obviously, but there are certain things, certain fundamentals, the foundations, certain tools and techniques that you need to do, so you can get to that place of self-reliance, so you actually know, what it is that's going to enable you to navigate this way through your life, after a short period of time. And it's no half a dozen sessions, it's normally one session, where people get to the point of, right, okay, this is how it goes together now. Then now you've got a choice to make, and I love the choice. The choice is a big part. I talk about the choice a lot. Having the ability, to make the decision, you're going to get it for yourself. And then at that point, absolutely, and the programme is a huge support of that. So the community, the people around about it, all as well. We've got the mentorship. So when somebody signs up for the programme, they're assigned a mentor, and the mentor's basically going to help them to come in and navigate their way through it. Excuse me a wee second. But the self-reliance and getting it for yourself and doing the work yourself, nobody can really tell you what it is that you need to do to make yourself happy. So at that point, once you have, awareness is the biggest part of that. Having the awareness to see what it is you're doing to yourself, what you're allowing into your life, what you're thinking about, where are you spending your time, is it making you feel good, is it making you feel bad, what you're doing to yourself, and what you're allowing them to do to you. And the power of awareness, this is all about awareness, this is all about expansion of consciousness. It's all about the higher self as opposed to the lower self. I watched Tony Robbins a few weeks ago, or somebody sent me a clip on him, and he asked me, one of my students asked me about, I get it, he's teaching mastery. And I would say Tony Robbins is teaching like self-mastery was what he actually said. He's teaching self-mastery. I get it, I need to master the self. But the self-mastery that he's teaching is the lower self. That's the ego self. It's the 3-dimension, be successful, go and get the stuff, go and get the things. That's where almost every coach is. That's normal personal development, achieving your goals, becoming the man, like fulfilling your dreams. And that's absolutely part of it, no question whatsoever. But as I learned a long time ago, it's like if you get all of that, as I did at one point in my life, I had everything you can imagine, all the stuff, all the material things, and it almost cost me my life, it really did. And I've seen it so many times now, through direct experience by people that are really dear to me. Chasing the money, chasing the paper with the best of intentions, to get the stuff that we think is going to basically answer all our problems and make everything right. And really, unless you get the other side of it, the mastery of the true self, which is what I'm all about, then the rest of the stuff can come and go. That's just part of the circus, and it's short-term pleasure. It's short-term, you get the release of the chemistry in the body and it makes you feel good for a really short period of time, But even if you had absolutely everything, if you had all the stuff and all the toys and all the money, and you get to a point where it's like, is that really enough? Is that? And a lot of people from lower levels of consciousness say, aye, give me that. But you watch what happens to people like that. McNugget's the prime example. McGargoyle, O'Connor, you watch what happened to him when he's from the outside perspective, for people who are in the circus, the clowns in the circus that look at him and still see him as a role model and sees him as something that's desirable, and you would like to be in that way. You're like, really, is that it? It's because money will just make you more of what you actually are. but unless you've got the other side of it, the true self, the higher self, then I don't believe that you can fulfill your potential in this lifetime. I really don't. And that's really, where all of this is going for me. The ability, true success is to have everything, every single bit of it. Unfortunately or fortunately, depends how you look at it. Money, the paper, the credits, whatever it is, is a part of this world. The more you've got, the more joy you can have, the more things you can do. It opens up so many doors, absolutely. That would be the way to, one level of freedom, where you can actually do what you want in this material world. But at the same time, there's so many more bits to true success. And that's really a big part of what the programme is. It's like teaching people how they can get everything, how they can get every single bit of it. So when you get to the end of your life and you're standing before God and she asks you, how did you do? It's to basically fulfil your potential so you can have everything. That's what it's all about. That's a big part of what the programme is, absolutely. Intentional living, taking back control, taking full responsibility. And then when we add in the different modalities, things like the power of awareness, to see what you're doing yourself. And then the skill set of the power of intention. Intention's a great thing, the power of intention. There's a book there by Wayne Dyer somewhere. It's actually a signed copy that he signed for me in Glasgow probably 15 years ago, maybe more than that actually. He did an event for Hay House, and that was the second time I'd met him, and he signed a few books for me. And the power of intention, he talks about intention, and one of his teachers, Castaneda, used to talk about intention as being like an actual thing. It's a real thing. It's not just airy-fairy and something that something that's in your mind, but it's an actual energy force that when you learn how to tap into it and learn how to apply it. And for me, to be intentional, I intend is such a powerful statement. The amount of times that I hear people say, I'll try, and I think of Yoda straight away, and this is something that I use with people all the time, where Yoda would say, like, either do it or don't do it, do or do not do, there is no try. And the good way to explain that is to try and pick up this cup, so you feel it, you see this cup and you will try and pick up the cup, and you'll see people kind of gain a wee bit of this and then they'll basically do that, and I'll say, well, you've just picked up the cup, so put it back down please, and you see them looking at you, their brains now starting to scramble. Now don't pick it up this time, but try and pick it up, and then they go the same again, and they'll normally pick it up again because they're basically lost, they're a wee bit embarrassed. And then again, you've picked up the cup, so don't pick up the cup, but try and pick up the cup. And then they'll eventually, after maybe 3 or 4 goes, some of them, depends how bright they are, they'll basically look at it and then I'll say, but you're not picking up the cup, so try and pick it up. And the analogy for Yoda is there is no try, either do it or don't do it, so I intend is so powerful. Here's what's happening. When you bring intention to anything, based on the back of the power of awareness, when you bring intention into that, then the whole world changes. And when you start to see it, as Castaneda taught Wayne Dyer, as this invisible, undeniable force, that when you learn how it goes together and how it feeds into consciousness, how it feeds into the field, and what you bring into that field, then your whole life can change. So at that point, you start to take back control. When you start to learn how it goes together, the 3 pillars, that is awareness, intention, and the third pillar is a power of awareness. The power of alignment. And to be in alignment, that's something that came through Abraham. Abraham is, again, for anybody looking in from outside, Abraham just seems bananas. I remember the first time I ever heard Abraham Hicks. It was an old tape set recording. I was upstairs, I was going to karate, and I was ironing my karate gi. And I remember my wife walking through, and she was like, what the fuck, what is that you're listening to? Because Abraham is a non-physical group of beings. It's already a bit mental, I know, who basically channel divine information from consciousness through this lady called Esther Hicks, who's books, recordings, lives, the teachings of Abraham, Esther and Jerry Hicks. Jerry died a few years ago. Quite a few years ago now, but Esther is still sharing the teachings of Abraham around about the world, and she basically stands on stage and basically allows this group of non-physical beings to transmit or to channel this information. And this is the reason I've got a vortex, because Abraham Hicks, there was a book called Getting in the Vortex, and at the time I probably spent 10 years just listening to Abraham, almost, maybe not as long as that, maybe 7 or 8 years, almost every single day. I was blessed to actually to go down to London and be in the presence of Esther and watch Abraham come through, or feel Abraham come through, which was fantastic. That was probably 10, 12 years ago. And the power of alignment, as she talks about, that's been in that flow state of inspiration, where you're connected to the divine, so, and that for me is where, to try and get every single person that I meet is to be in that place that they would call alignment. It's a flow state, and it's a flow state of being in spirit, of being inspired, being in connection, and being fully connected to the field, consciousness, the divine, and I often say that I hate motivation because motivation's too hard. I think of Tony Robbins and like all that kind of stuff, and like let's go, and too hard, unsustainable, and really a lot of work. But I love inspiration, to be in spirit and to be inspired. And when you understand what inspiration is and you know how to tap into it, then that aligned state, to be in alignment, is the third pillar. They're the three main things: awareness, intention, and alignment. You really kind of start to apply them to your life. Then the whole world changes, and the program is a vehicle for people to come in and learn, how to get to that place every single day. That's what it's all about. We've got the recordings, so we've got the online community, we've got the recordings, we've got all the breath work, hundreds of breath work, hours of breath work, hundreds of hours of meditation. We've got the Telegram group, which is fantastic, the community, and it's been really interesting to watch that, how many people have left over the year, how many people joined and then didn't really get it. And at that point we never had a mentorship program, which we had to learn, if people are coming in, especially the pace that the actual program group is going at just now. And even within the programme, there's all different levels to it. People coming in and just kind of, paying the subscription every month, and really just using the recordings, using the recordings for their own use every single month. And you've got other people that are basically coming here, some of them 2-3 times a week, between boys club or there's a Friday night in. A lot of them now, I speak to some of them almost every single day. And the support through the community and the way that it's came about and the way that it's basically developed, the community is one of the most important things for me. That's one of the things that I was quite surprised at, how it shaped itself. And I didn't really see that. I had the intention, it was very much to do that, was to kind of get like-minded souls, like-minded people together. But how that's now developed and what we've now got within the community has really been, powerful beyond words. And the last, we have a monthly, we now have a monthly members meeting. We've done one, so really it just came through at Christmas time, and there's going to be another one next month. But the desire is to bring people in at least once a month. If I'm here, if we're about, and depending on how things go, and the numbers continue to, obviously the support for people want to do it. But when we brought people up here, there was 18 people in the room a couple of Sundays ago, and when you just see that amount of people, all at different stages, some, I think the most has been probably 6 years have been around about this, around about me and the Vortex in one way, shape or form, and then some people are just really in the door over the last kind of 2, 3, 6 months, who are kind of dipping their toe in and still trying to learn the language and still probably working out what it is that we're actually doing here. And you see that at all different stages, people at all different levels of consciousness, all different levels of experience, all different levels of understanding and learning the language, and then all the different stages to learn them, and actually bring it into their life and start to apply it. It's been fascinating to watch, but the power is within that community, and I see it every Monday night just about a boys club. Boys club is that's program members only, and that's really talk about a band of brothers. And from business owners to laymen like myself, brickies, electricians, plumbers, a lot of building trade, a lot of laddies that have had a lot of kind of contrast, shall we say, in their life, a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. And watching what's happened to that group, that's really been my test group over the last year, because it's been almost every single Monday. Thank you so much, guys, if you're watching this or you're listening to it, those who have been coming to the Monday nights, because what I've learned over the course of the year, because that group, and there's members within the programme itself who are actually taking it to the nth degree in terms of doing the work every single day. There's a live meditation every single morning, so the Zoom call that I would do the live morning meditations on, that chat room or that space is now opened every single day, so people can go in for 2:30 in the morning. You see people going in, I get the notifications with email, all the way up to probably 7:30, 8 in the morning when people get the meditation before they go to work. I was in this morning for a couple of hours. I was up for a back of 3 this morning, did about an hour and a half my own meditation, and then jumped into the space, and there was 5 people sitting there at 5:30 this morning. And because of the connections that we're making, because the connections that we've made literally at a heart level, within the field, the connections, you're talking about people that are now, my brothers and my sisters, as are they with each other. The friendships, and it's way beyond friendships, it's like a kinship that's been developed over the last year. That's something that with the boys club on a Monday night, watching the people that have really committed to it. And by committing to it, again, there's different levels to it. People really want this. When people come in about this and they get through the one experience and they love it and they think, oh, fantastic, great, I've got it. You know, they leave here with a cape on all at the time, they've been in the ice, and they've switched off their nervous system, and they've sat in meditation for the first time in their life, they've reconnected back into their heart, back into their soul, and they're literally flying in a way they've never felt before in their life. They're reconnecting back to all the good stuff, you know, what it feels like to be happy, when's the last time you felt joy, and then reliving the joy in your heart and in your soul, and then, you know, like the feelings of appreciation and gratitude, and you understand the science behind it, what that does to every single cell in your body, what that does for your coherence of your heart, and the impact it has on the outside world. Again, this is undeniable hard science now, thanks to people like Joe Dispenza, you know, thanks to people like Greg Braden, who are, and many others as well, who are basically proving what's actually happening, you know, when you sit in meditation, what happens to the brain, what happens to your heart, what happens to every single cell in your body, you know, just by being intentional and going back inside. When we sit in meditation together, the impact that's felt, Wayne Dyer used to talk about the butterfly effect, how it's felt all around about the world. And when you understand entanglement, as I now do, with the field and how everything is connected, again, scientifically proven, everything's connected within the field. You know, when we're sitting on a Monday night, and those people that have been doing the work every single day, sometimes multiple times a day, the way that I've been doing it for the last 28 years, when you see the progress that has been made by some of them over the last year, you're talking about people that are now, when you say the word enlightenment, that scares 99% of people away. God's even worse, you know, when you think about God and what God is, which is really funny. It's something that I absolutely plan to normalise, is what God is and what enlightenment is, because it's available to everybody. And my interpretation of enlightenment is a direct experience of that divinity that's inside every single one of us. That's what I got after 18 years of devotional practice every single day. Almost every day, it was twice a day. First thing in the morning and last thing at night. I was like the moth to the flame. I wanted it. I was chasing that feeling of enlightenment. And I got it. It took me 18 years where I actually had the direct experience of everything. You know, you become the field. You know, it's not just to feel the presence or the love of God. You know, that the life force, the source energy, the divine matrix, doesn't matter what you call it, you know, that field that everything comes through, the intelligence that's within that field or behind that field, or whatever how you perceive it as yourself. But when I got that for myself, I knew that it must be in everybody. And watching now, you know, the room we were in here Monday night, and great with the group, because and some of the things that they'll say is like, I can still find them like catching themselves as if, what the fuck am I doing? You know, how did I get here? You know, these are laddies that come for the scheme. Some of them you couldn't mark with a sword. You know, some of them was like fucking, some of the life experiences and the hardships that many of us have been through. And now, Monday night was a prime example where there's a couple within the group who struggle to feel the feeling, that energetic emotion and feeling and vibration, that sacred vibration that we call love. You know, so energy work, for anybody that doesn't know and anybody that does know, energy work's a big part of what I do here, healing with intention, you know, reconnecting to the divine and allowing it to come through as a channel. It's like Reiki on steroids, that's what it kind of feels like. Reiki is, I always felt there's a lot of ego in it, a lot of kind of doing the symbols, and you're relying on, again, something external to you. Angelic Reiki was very different, you know, with the angels, when you're tuned to the angels and the archangels. That sounds mad, brilliant. You know, and I can imagine some like builder watching this and going, he's fucking lost the plot. But it's real, it's absolutely real. And the evidence is, again, that, you know, I'm now teaching that my healing with intention, the work that I do, because many years ago, after I went through the Angelic Reiki course, and that changed my life, you know. Angelic Reiki basically allows you to tap into the archangels, or, you know, to by intention, to tap into ascended masters, let's put it that way, as well as the archangels. And the energy can come through you, absolutely. And I've seen miracles with that work in myself and with other people. You know, but eventually I thought, right, what is it that I actually do? Because somebody said to me one day, like, questions the integrity of the archangels, which is hilarious, you know, like in terms of fallen archangels. And I thought, you know what? I don't know. I really don't know, because I don't see anything. I can feel everything. And the presence of Archangel Michael is something that's I've been told has been run about me for a long time, way back. The first ever Reiki course that I did, the lady that was taking me through it, and the presence of Archangel Michael and loads of kind of woohoo stuff at the time, which was too much for me. But I can feel the presence of whatever that is. There was a man came here many years ago and channeled archangels. And when he channeled this archangel, there was no doubt in my mind as to what it was real, because everything that he said in terms of the information that he had for me, or the inspiration he had for me, and how it played out in my life with the cold exposure and nature, and my life went a complete turn after that man channeled. Not just for me, but there was another 4 or 5 people in the room that he channeled for, who I worked with at the time. They were basically my students. I was coaching with my students. And the information, we'd never met him before. So when you see something like that, it becomes very, very real. And eventually, when one of my friends questioned the archangels, and this man is a fairly evolved being as well, I thought, you know what is it I do with my work? What is it I do with my meditations? And I basically connect back into the divine. I tap into God, or God taps into me, depending on how you look at it. You know, so at that point, everything changed. And now with the intentional healing work, all I'm basically doing is tapping into the divine and to allow that to come through me. And it's so simple and it's so profound and it's absolutely real. And I can tell you, there's been many life-changing events. Some would call them miracles, just by people being in the presence, of that energy that anybody can tap into. And over the last probably 6 months, I've been teaching some of the inner circle, some of the apprentices that are willing to learn or wanting to learn how to heal with intention. And on Monday night, with one of the lads on the bed that's been struggling because of different things that's happened in his life that go way back, and hearing these normal people, for the scheme, for the building sites, and what their experience, what they're getting, not what I'm telling them is happening, or what I'm basically projecting onto them, but their words in terms of what they're getting in these spaces now. It's very evident that there's a massive shift that's coming through. There's a massive shift in this wave of consciousness, this wave of light, this new way of being and living that's going to be required to basically get this world back onto its feet and fix it back to the way that it needs to be. But at the same time, the way that they're getting that and the reason they're getting that is because they're on the programme. It's because they're doing the work every single day. The ones that are absolutely flying, the ones that are basically going about with smiles on their faces that would make you sick, some of them. There's nothing worse when somebody's flying and you're struggling. But eventually you get to a place where that's a great thing and you love to see other people doing great. That took me a wee while, a way back, to kind of be happy when somebody else is doing well. And it can be a struggle when you're not feeling good yourself. But within this group, I talk about the rising tide lifting all inside. That Monday night, every single Monday, the same faces almost every single week, and we're doing the breathing, we're doing the meditations, we're changing it up every single week, similar, but it's different every single week. And then you see where people are now, you see what's manifesting in their life, you see that place that I'm talking about where life literally comes from you and it's not happening to you. Again, the science backs all of this up. If you can get yourself into coherence, you can get yourself into that place of expectation, excited about what's about to unfold in your life, and in fact, you're designing what you want to show up in your life by the power of your intention. Know the things, very important, but the feelings you wish to have in your life, how you want to live your life experience, because you're looking one way and you're expecting the red Ferrari or the new Rolex, no me, but, and it comes in another way, because no matter if you are chasing the Ferrari or the new holiday or the new helicopter or the new whatever it is, it's really the feelings and the expansion that takes place in terms of fulfilling your potential to be able to attract and get that stuff in your life. So it's the feelings that you're going after. So a lot of the times, when I sit and do my manifestations in the morning time, or I'm feeling that way of, being in gratitude and being happy and excited for what's about to unfold, I'll be very specific what I want to intend to create with my life. But then the great example is when I was at the supermarket a while back, and the wee woman must have been in their 90s, and her man was about 120. He was sitting in the chair behind the till, and he had the wallet. She was basically loading up, and she was in front of me, and she was loading up, and she was getting really stressed because she was trying to attract his attention. And I saw the whole thing unfolding, and I basically stopped her and I said, "Listen, let me go and get him for you." And I went over and I basically woke the old dude up and said, "Listen, brother, it's back to work, let's go." And he woke up and he kind of smiled at me. And I came back and I stood behind the two and I watched them going through and getting their wallet and kind of working this life journey they're on together. It was absolutely beautiful. And I'm filling up with tears. It just, wasn't even gratitude. It was like appreciation, for not what I'd done, but watching them, this in love, this couple, this young couple in love and going through life and working out. But the ability that I had to basically, with awareness, to step in and help them find relief, the feelings that I got for that, you couldn't have gave me anything. Wouldn't have mattered what it was that would have made me feel any better in that moment. And I realised it's not that I'm trying to get. It's basically manifested in a different way. The feelings that I was able to create, not by design, but just by compassion and seeing another person suffering, and then the desire to help them, that was it. But then watching them, and then how I felt just watching this couple basically trying to work it out, and how much love they had for each other, I realised very quickly that you're looking in this direction and sometimes it can come another way, and with awareness you get the ability to basically pick it up as it's happening. So really interesting. It does take work once you learn. If it is for you, if you're interested in the programme, once you learn how it goes together, once you sign up and you come in and you start to learn the language and you start to get in about the community, Murphy's just about to bark, then it takes work. It absolutely takes work, and it takes work every single day. You don't get it for free. Another thing to realise is there's so many different levels to it. It's not just about getting the kind of fired at the cannon. Even when you come in here, I've saw people come in here one session and literally, I wouldn't really call it enlightenment, but they reconnect back to themselves. They switch off their nervous system and they reconnect back into their heart and back into their soul, which is incredible. But when they leave, how long is that going to last? And for me, if that was me, and maybe that's a wee bit difficult when somebody actually gives it to you, as I do, that first session. But when you leave here after the first time, the question I would be asking is like, how do I get back to that place every single day? Because when you're in that flow state, when you're feeling empowered, when you're in coherence, when you're out your head and the incoherence of the brain, all the madness and the chronic stress and the inflammation and the tension and just chaos that people are living under. I saw a stat the other day that 70% of your life is basically living in chronic stress for the Western world. That's how people live. So at that point we're completely incoherent. Everything's just in chaos. And chaos leads to disease, chaos leads to illness, leads to sickness, leads to basically things falling to bits. Neither wonder that so many people are getting sick just now when we look at what's in the environment, the amount of stress that's in the environment. So when they're back in coherence, when they're back in that alignment, in that aligned state and being in alignment, the whole world literally changes. The field changes around about you. People want to be around about somebody who's in that place. Even if you don't say anything, but you're simply feeling good. You become intentional at projecting the feelings of love, projecting the feelings of compassion, and actually looking for people to help. Not to give it to them, but to basically, if you can, lend a helping hand. That's a great place to be, and for me the question would be, like, how do I get to that place every single day? And that's really what the programme is. It's the tools and techniques to enable anybody who's seeking, anybody who's interested, to go on a journey of self-discovery. And that journey of self-discovery, once you learn the basics, the foundations, the question's very simple. It's like, what is it that you need to do to put a smile on your face every single day? What do you need to be happy every single day? What do you need to experience joy in your heart every single day? What do you need to do to get into coherence? Because when you're in that place, you can then start to create the reality and the life that I do believe is available to anybody. And it's so simple, it is so profound, but it does take work. And that's what the programme is. The programme, get the experience, learn the tools, the techniques and modalities, but then once you go through the other side of that, then it's a support network between the community, all the videos, access to me. I'm on the Telegram group every single day. I'm open to any questions for anybody. It's all leading towards the internal spiritual practices, and as a byproduct of that, we're not neglecting the things of this world. It's a dangerous thing with the spiritual work is to basically give up the third dimension, because we need the paper to survive. That's something that I have made a mistake with most of my life. When I come back from Ibiza, after being in abundance my whole life and having a lot of money for myself, I was basically always in abundance. Really, when I came back, I had no real desire for it. And up until very, very recently, probably the last year, where the lack of abundance was really starting to inhibit my progress in terms of what I want to do with this work. I believe you can get all the money in the world, and you should have all the money in the world, but it depends on what you do with it. And my desire, my intention is to attract avalanches of abundance in through this work, in through this vortex, in through this modality that I'm basically bringing to the world. Why? So we can take it to the world and help more people. It's dead simple. I'm not looking, for a house in Spain. I'm not looking for a new Rolex. I'm not looking for, it's none of that kind of stuff. Freedom is what it's all about. The ability to do what you want, when you want, whenever you want. That place that I would call freedom. And real freedom is the direct experience of the divinity that's inside of you. So, no matter what it is that comes your way, you're going to be fine. That's the absolute freedom. Freedom from the ego, freedom from the lower self, and all the challenges of this world. So it's been a great year. We've learned a lot. There's been massive success watching those who have done the work. Not just in the boys club on the Monday night. There's so many within the main group that are basically tending to themselves and working it out at different pace and different stages, absolutely. But watching people getting it has been absolutely fantastic. And now, when we launched the programme on March 1st, after this 1 day to change your life, there's been quite a few upgrades, there's been quite a few additions to it. We took it down a couple of months ago, and we now have the app. So the app is now live. Before you had to sign in through a website, which is a wee bit ham and eggs. I didn't like that, but now there's an actual app you can download onto your phone and get access in through the app, and it gives you straight into whether it's fire breath, deep relaxation, how to get to sleep, all the videos that are basically recorded in the beginning. There's a whole load of new videos that have been added to the programme itself. There's new videos about the cold exposure, how to basically go into the cold. There's new videos about heat exposure, the benefits of heat exposure. There's also, at the moment, there's 2 new teachers that are going to be on it. I'm very, very wary as to who I basically stand beside within this work. I have stood beside quite a few people over the years, and every single time I end up getting my fingers burnt, end up getting disappointed. From probably the most famous would be Wim Hof. You know, when I tried to allow him into my life and allowed him to stand beside me, and the pain and the suffering that I went through with that. Anybody that's been watching my journey over the last 4 or 5 years will know how I feel about all of that. I only send him love. I really do. I wish him all the best. But you know, at the time when I was going through it, the pain and the suffering and the lessons that I had to learn, I think probably the last one was Heal Scotland. You know, where all of the Breathe and Believes that I've been doing over the years for free, and then they wanted to basically allow anybody to basically do my workshop of Breathe and Believe, and I'm like, there's nobody got my experience. There's nobody does what I do with Breathe and Believe. There's nobody basically brings people in, no matter what it is. It's not about cold exposure. It's not even about the breath work. It's a reconnection process. That's what this work is to reconnect and remember the power that's inside of you. So at that point, I had huge challenges, you know, with them basically using, you know, my workshop, my name, because it's mine. It came through me, through hundreds of thousands of hours of practice and devotional study towards the divine. So at that point, you know, again, that was the final kind of straw, I think, where I had to realise that, you know what, I can't stand beside anybody with this. I need to basically like stand on my own 2 feet and allow it to come through me and do it for myself, you know. And so for the last couple of years, I've been very wary. The amount of people that have asked to do something with me, and I'm always very wary to kind of keep away from people, and especially with the vortex, especially when I'm allowing them to stand with me. When I vouch for somebody, they need to be right. They need to be 100%. And one of the men I talk about all the time is Patrick McFadyen from the Oxygen Advantage, you know, and the lessons that I've learned from him and watching him, you know, just one of those teachers that is absolutely for the greatest good. And that's probably the biggest bit for me, because people that are not in it for the greatest good, even if they say they do, 99.9% of them are in it for themselves. The amount of yoga teachers that have been through these doors, the amount of just normal people that come in and then go away and become cold water experts, you know, they're teaching people breath work, or they go away and they learn breath work, and then all of a sudden they're battering people through breath work, and it's like they don't have any life experience in terms of when the breath work, the challenges come up or the trauma comes up. It's like, right, okay, you then need the experience behind you as to how you're going to help people through that, you know. So that's why over the years, I've I've basically taken so many people out of my life. I've not fell out with them. I send all of them love. I don't feel any ill wishes towards anybody at this stage of my life, and I have in the past. I grew up in building sites, you know. It's like I've got 2 sides to me, absolutely. You know, there's the spiritual guy, the enlightened one, you know, the presence of God, the desire to help and heal the world, and this whole mission. But at the same time, I grew up in building sites, and I do not suffer fools gladly. And the minute I find somebody stealing from me, the minute I find somebody taking what I've taken all the years to learn, and they take it for themselves. There's one guy who lives round the corner from here who basically came to one session, and before he knew it, was basically stole literally my workshop. Reset and Reconnect. He stole it as his own, and he was teaching people how to get into cold water after one session. And you're just going, oh no, you don't get to do that. That's not right, because you're not qualified. You know, you need to have the experience and the qualifications and the intentions, you know, to what you're actually doing. It can't be about you. And that's where so many people have fell out over the years. But now there are certain people that are in about me, and I am absolutely delighted and blessed that 2 of them, there's going to be a third joining very, very shortly. The timing just isn't right at this moment in time for her, but there's 2 at the moment that are going to be going to V2, as we call it, onto the programme. Miss Sasha Mason McKenzie, and my sister, who's going to be teaching Qigong. And excited for that. You know, the amount of people that have been on about Sasha already, that know the power that's in her work. You talk about authentic teachers, people that are in it for the greatest good, people that are there to basically help mankind get back and find their way back to the way and back to the light. Sasha is a shining example of that. You know, it's all about that. I've known her for probably the last 4 or 5 years. She came to a big event through Heal Scotland, funnily enough, and then it was the spiritual stuff. You know, I became like a spiritual coach, she would say. She's somebody I'm absolutely going to go into this to do a squad cast very, very shortly. We tried the last few weeks, or a few weeks back, but it just didn't happen. And then one thing and another, because of how busy she is and because of where I've been at, it's not been the right time. But it's somebody who I would love everybody to hear her story and hear what she's all about, the challenges she's been through in her life, and then where she's at just now. With every great teacher, there's always adversity. They've always came through. That's the heroic journey, isn't it? The heroic journey is being in the bones of your arse and being beaten down, and through your own fault or somebody else's or divine will, whatever it is. But it's those that basically stand up and dust themselves down and go again and get out the other side, so that their story becomes, an example of what's possible, instead of a warning that most people's lives are. They basically get to a place that's like, poor fucking me. But it's those that are basically they've broke through and they've transcended all of their challenges and they stand on the other side. And Sasha is absolutely that, and I'm looking forward to just getting to know her through the programme, absolutely. And with the squadcast as well, when she comes on, we can get a chat. So she's going to be teaching Qigong through a series of videos that I'm hoping are going to be, it'll be live monthly, not live, but recorded, but it'll be a live recording that's uploaded, I would imagine, monthly. There's a series she's already recorded for us, so that's going to be on the programme. Again, the ancient ways, the stuff that's been about forever. Qigong, 4,000-5,000 years old, I believe that it is. The same as yoga, it's been about forever. So when you get round about that, and you've got a teacher with Sasha's intention and integrity, with the desire to pass it on to the world as a channel, as a vehicle for light, then that is only goodness. And Sasha is literally my sister. She really is. She's somebody who I love very, very dearly. And I was shown in one of my own ceremonies the connection that we have had for possibly many lifetimes. I'm getting quite emotional talking about her now, because I've got so much love for her and the work that she does. She is only goodness, and I'm very excited for those to get on about her, those that are going to be on the programme. Just only goodness. And anybody that isn't in the programme, go and see her anyway. Anybody wants to know who she is, just hit us up a message. We can let you know where she is. And she's got obviously her own private classes on daily, I believe. Somebody you should all get on about. So that's exciting, Qigong. And then secondly, another one of my students is Ross Peters, who's going to be coming in and teaching. I'm not quite sure how to describe it. For me, it's like functional movement. So my desire to become stronger as I'm getting older, all the back injuries that I had last year, I've never lifted a weight in my life. I'd never been to the gym in my life. I have never really, and I've been sore my whole life. I've been injured my whole life, but just the whole thing of going to the gym and being one of the gym bunnies was never for me. And then I tried last year to, there was a couple of people that I reached out to basically try and help me. And it's just fascinating, this work, about how it goes together, and how when you're, again, talking about manifestation, my meditations at the time were basically like I need somebody, I would love somebody to come in, and for the programme members, and for myself included, the Qigong something I do every single day now, same as with yoga as well, I do it every single day. And the functional movement that's basically came through Ross, if you'd have said to me that this is how it was going to unfold, again, I never saw it coming. There was a couple of young lads who I basically got in, and I was hoping they were going to help me. It didn't work out, but they recommended that Ross would come in. And at the time, Ross is still working in a full-time job, and he's doing this other work as a passion. He's been doing it for a number of years. So functional movement and basically getting your body strong in ways that I didn't even know existed. So it's fascinating to watch, and it's even more fascinating when you're going through it. Especially, I've been to the gym once with him now, and you're standing in these postures, and you're engaging the core, and you're standing in a certain way, and you're not really doing anything, except for the outside, it doesn't look like you're doing anything. But after about 10 or 15 seconds, you start to burn in agony in ways you can't even imagine. There's exercise you do on the ground or against the wall, or specific planks where you're isolating the muscles, and it's all about gaining core stability and learning to move properly. And then we're going to add in the resistance. I'm not at that stage yet. I've just been breaking things up. The first phase for me has been about myofascial release, which I absolutely love. I've been on my arse in the flare for most of my life. When I trained the kind of full distance, well, even before that, I was doing martial arts, football. I came out of football and I basically chucked it, and my groin, I had a groin injury, a chronic adductor strain, they thought it was. Then I fixed my back. Many years later, somebody fixed my back through massage, like proper manipulation, which is a real physiotherapist, when you're basically breaking it up with your fingers, as well as the machines a wee bit, but really a physiotherapy for me is about manipulation. And then, so the foam roller rollers and all that kind of stuff. That replaced physiotherapy for me that I was going twice a week at the time and probably spending 80 quid a week. So when I learned about foam rollers and trigger point therapy and breaking up your muscles, so for the last probably 25 years, I've been on the floor almost every single day, sitting, stretching, moving, especially when I was into the martial arts, and I was basically training in karate and teaching karate to kids a bit, competition level karate to kids. So I was training kind of at least 3-4 times a week between the classes and myself as well, almost every day at one point. I was just sore all the time because of my body and whatever, the inflammation within my body. That's before the cold exposure. So now to have Ross come in and how he was able to be manifested through these other two young men as a recommendation that I should work with him, and then like understanding that he was a PT and understanding that he did a wee bit of this but not quite sure what it is that he did. I mean, talk about a peaceful warrior, and talk about only goodness, another one. When you know this laddie's story and where he's been and where he's at just now and what's coming through him and the journey that he's on, and then the skill set that he's got. I've been doing it every single day since I started working with him probably a couple of months ago. And I'm delighted to say he's going to be on the programme as well, with all his exercises of just pain and literal torture, but the benefits that I'm already feeling. I played golf 4 times in a row over 4 days, and I couldn't have done that last year. And this has been, I've hardly even started. I'm only just breaking myself up. I've got these, it's not like, I don't do rolling anymore. I do a wee tiny bit of rolling, but the myofascial release is basically getting these balls of different sizes and then finding the different trigger points and then basically sitting on them for anywhere for, I do about 30 breaths, normally about a minute and a half, and you feel the release. And then when he explains how the myofascia works and the benefits to how the marrow releases and how the body's literally starting to regenerate and heal itself, that's the truth for me. That's literal fact now because of how good I'm feeling, and the pain is getting easier and easier every single day. The pain that comes from sitting in those points in the beginning, as I say, I've been rolling for many years, and this is a different level of pain, and you can really get really into it. And I'm still at different parts between the quads and the the glutes and the back and my stomach and different bits of my neck. I'm just unlocking my body and giving my body, like, breaking up myself. But I don't need to go to a physio to do it for me. It's what a gift. So Ross is going to win the programme. Ross Peters, very excited for that. Only goodness. Just absolutely blessed the fact that they're both going to be on it. And again, the programme members are going to be able to have access to them as part of the deal, which is just absolutely awesome. So between V2, the app, V2, I keep calling it V2, this next this evolved version it is, the app, the other teachers, myself, the expanded, brighter and breezier version of myself that's going about just now, the work that I'm doing to myself. It's fascinating the amount of pain and suffering and contrast over a short period of time that I experience with this dis-ease in my body. I say dis-ease because I'm not calling it a disease. It is a disease, but it's dis-ease within the body, and I'm going to heal it. It's already starting to heal, so there's no drama. I am the only focus I have, and the only reason I talk about it is just so people can again heal my story. I'm documenting my story, but the journey to back to absolute vitality, that's just a matter of time. And what's became of me over the last wee bit in terms of what I've done to my diet, what I've done for meditation. I had 3 hours this morning meditation at least. I had 3 hours. I was in bed. I was in bed at 8:30 last night. But acupuncture yesterday. I was absolutely burst. So I had 2 hours meditation last night. Intentionally create my reality from heart coherence and tapping into the field. Wonderful, loving it, absolutely loving it. I'm watching videos whenever I'm not doing this work, whenever I'm not studying and learning. I'm educating myself. I'm immersed in Dr. Hawkins' work like I've never been before. I'm thinking a lot about addiction, based on my own addictions of the past and how I'm going to help so many people get beyond and transcend their own addictions. The one step is coming very soon. There's loads of bits to add to that, but I'm hoping that's going to be the next couple of months to release that. So this new expanded, evolved version of me, constant never-ending expansion, this is all about. I learned that from Tony Robbins in 1998. It never ends. The universe is always expanding, and this version of me, so it feels like I'm also one of the new teachers that's coming on. My plan is to teach movement on it. I've been doing yoga moves, never trained in yoga, but I do believe I'm a yogi. Yoga means union with God. I know how to do that. I know how to do that inside one breath, by one intention, to sit in silence and to reconnect back with the divine. And then the movement that comes through me every single day, whether it's on the mat, whether it's with the rollers, whether it's with the stick that I use. I use a large broom handle, which is like a martial arts weapon. And the way that I use that, and how I've been able to, use my own body and manipulate my own body and heal my own body through this movement. That's something that I'm absolutely going to teach within the programme as well. That's going to happen, I would think, towards the end of next month, by the time I get some time to basically put that together. Again, there's so many hours in the day for me just now, and we're working on so many other different fronts. There's possibly another new addition to the team coming in, which is really exciting. So I'm working on different fronts just now, where I am, I'm limited with my time, but the movement that I'm doing every single day, to make it like this so that it becomes natural and normal, and just being able to capture it, so that I can basically help people and show them the things that I'm doing is really exciting. So excited with that. The programme itself, there's weekly lives every week. Every Sunday night. That's something that may increase. It may not. Once a week it feels like a good balance for me just now. The Sunday services, I call it, every Sunday night, 9 o'clock, which is a really sacred time. 9 o'clock at night through the Sag Mark system is a great time to basically tap into the field and reconnect with the divine. Sunday night, for the reason the best week ever starts the night before, starts on that Sunday night. Don't wait till Monday morning to see how it goes. So we tune in every Sunday night live on Zoom. Get guided breathwork, relaxation, meditation, depending on what I'm in, where I'm at, and what kind of state I'm in at the time and what's coming through me. Last Sunday night there, it was all about love. The intention was to talk about love and the healing that's taken place, again, because of my own journey. Excuse me. Oops. Like self-love and reconnecting back to what that is, that sacred vibration, and then feeling that the love for the field, the love for the divine, the love for each other, and then projecting it back out as well as allowing it in. That was Sunday night, and it's different every single week. So every Sunday night we've got the lives. There's a bank of videos, hundreds of hours of videos now, all the new information, all the stuff I just mentioned, as well as the recordings we've done in the past over the last year. They've been added to every single week because of the lives, so that's exciting. There's probably too many on there, and it's just really a case of identifying the ones that suit you and then being able to tune into them whenever you fancy it. The support of the group is everything. The support of the community, like-minded souls going through this together. Once you learn this language, which takes a wee bit of time, that's why the videos are there, that's why the information, that's why I need to get the book finished at some point, hopefully this year, so that people can reference it very, very easily, as opposed to have to sift through the videos. But the support of the community is a huge part of this, absolutely. And the mentorship, when people come in, they're assigned a mentorship. Some of them don't need it, some of them don't want it, but having the support there, and also somebody keeping an eye on you, because once you get it, that's not it forever. You can absolutely fall off it, no question whatsoever. It's so easy to basically get to that place again where you stop doing the work and you back off. So having somebody there to basically give you a wee leg up and say, come on, let's go, let's get fucking into this, let's go again. Because once you come off it, it can be challenging to try and do it yourself. In fact, nigh on impossible for some people to get it for themselves again. So somebody to basically help you back up, a friendly ear if you are struggling. A lot of people still, they struggle asking me. So having, someone else within the group that they'll gravitate towards, and they'll maybe ask them things they wouldn't ask me, that's very important, of course it is, for the whole thing, So the support of the community is absolutely massive. And then there's the discounts as well, the discounts from all the work that's done here. So instead of the Friday night in being 70 quid, I believe it's 40 quid for the programme members. The boys club every Monday night, that's pennies, that's a contribution, as to 4 hours in the sauna and the ice bath and all the good stuff that's coming through every single week. The ceremony retreat, I get asked, there's hundreds of people who have basically signed up a note of interest for the ceremony retreat, and the only way you get to do a ceremony with me is to basically be on the programme. That's the only way it happens. You don't get to do it any other way, unfortunately, for people who are trying to do it. It's really a case of, and the reason for that is because obviously as deep as that is, the work that takes place, and the ceremony is a reconnection back to the self. It is an eye way. We use the medicine, an eye way, but you don't need the medicine. You really don't. We had a girl in here Friday night who basically had the ceremony, the reconnection back to herself with one energy session. The light came back on in her, and she basically went away and did what she had to do and found all her healing that needed to take place at that stage in her life. So the ceremony is a reconnection back to the self, but it's deep spiritual work, and that's why, it's like I looked up the course that I did with Joe Dispenza, the 90-day, the progressive online course, 90 days I did it, 93 days I think it was, back in 2016. And to go and do the workshop with him, to do his week-long intensive, you must do the 90-day. They must do the 90-day course first. You must sign up for the online course. Why? So you know what you're talking about. So just walking in there off the street, it would take too long to get you up to speed. And it's very similar to this. There's a period of learning. There's a period of immersion where you need to go in and learn the language and get around about the breath work and learn how the breath goes together. So when you don't come in, we're not actually taking you through the breath work for the first time. So it's not a case of, like, this is what functional breathing is, this is what happens to your stress response, this is why we do it, this is the ways to breathe. That's basic stuff. Even the cold exposure. If you're running about this, I would expect you've got a cold exposure practice and know how to do it properly and safely and effectively, and the ability to use it whenever you need it, inside one breath. Now, for somebody coming in that's never sat in an ice barrel before, that's too much. So there's a period of learning. You need to actually get that first and foremost before you get to go away in the ceremony retreats weekends, because it is deep water. It is the inner circle. The inner circle is getting bigger every single day. There are so many good souls. I say often there is only goodness in about this, and that's a literal fact. There is only goodness in this work, and it's attracting only goodness. And it's interesting watching the people that come and go and go in their own path. But the ones that stick, the ones that run about it, we are absolutely blessed. So all the discounts that come with that, obviously, the ceremony weekend, the availability to go and basically come and go through that whole weekend with me, which is just, it's amazing. It really is, watching people that go in a ceremony and what comes back. The people that have made quantum shifts this year, there's at least, I would say probably 70 to 80% of them, they'll put it down to going away in that ceremony retreat weekend. I would say at least 70 to 80% absolutely. So they'll put it back to, it was a ceremony, it was that weekend, it might not have been the ceremony itself, but it was something that happened during that weekend, in that sacred space, in the quiet, with no phones, with clean food, with the group. The intention of the group, as we discovered on Monday night at Boys Club, 10 guys, with the divine coming down through them in meditation and projecting it into one's soul, and watching what happens when you just bathe somebody with unconditional love. So that the combination and the power within the group is so powerful. It needs to be experienced to be understood, and that's why you need to come in, be on the programme, get around about it for a certain period of time, so I can get to know you, so I know what you're dealing with, so that when the stuff does come up, then you've got the ability to basically get it up, get it out, and then to reconnect back to the divine and find your healing. There's a process and a time where that really a time frame that has to take place. You don't just come in and get that straight off the bat. That would be ridiculous to expect that, so you need to be on the programme to get that, so really excited. And the other question that people ask is, who's it for? Who's the programme for? And, when you get to this stage, very difficult to give this to anybody. It really is. And the amount of times that people leave, even this week, I've seen it probably 2 or 3 times where I'm going to give this to my partner. I'm going to give this to, somebody that really needs this, that they're coming back. And I basically stop that straight away. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So for those that are coming on about this, the ones that are ready for this work, because it takes work. It takes work, and it takes work every single day if you want to get the stuff that I'm talking about. Just come and get it for one session, that's it, done and dusted, and you walk away and you've got enlightenment, and that's it. That's not what this is. It's about changing your life, changing your lifestyle. There's the input that you're putting in, where you're spending your time, who you're spending your time with, what you're watching on the TV. If you're still boozing at the weekend, if you're still going to watch the Fitbit and you're immersed in that horribleness, some people, with the bigotry in the west of Scotland, this isn't for you. If you're still wanting to do both of them at the same time, this isn't for you. If you still like drama and you're still addicted to, the circus and the noise, this isn't for you. It really isn't. It's for a certain group of people. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time and your money. So for those that are ready, that's who it's for. For those that are ready to make a change in their life, for those that are ready to basically take full responsibility and go on this intentional journey. For why? To fulfill your potential. To look back at the end of your life and go, you know what, I got it. I gave it every single thing that I had, and I got exactly what I always knew was available to me, but I didn't know how to get there. That's what the programme is. The programme enables you to find your own way, to navigate your way through this life, and to get the stuff that makes you happy, the stuff that puts a smile on your face. And that's every single day, and that takes work. So it's no for everybody. But if you're called, if you've had enough of the pain and the suffering, and you're tired and you're frustrated with life, and you've tried everything, that's a great place to be. If you're in the bones of your arse and you've lost everything, that's an even better place to be, when you've got nothing else. At that point, I really do feel that especially the spiritual stuff, that's the only time where people really find it. Why else would you be looking for it? If everyone's gone great and you're even if it's not gone great, if you're just in that grey area where it's no bad enough and it's alright, but it's not quite good enough, but you're comfortable, people are not going to make change for that place. So people that are really struggling, people that have suffered, people that have had enough, that's a great place to be. People that are ready to commit and bring these tools and techniques into their life every single day and change everything. Changing the input, what you're watching on the telly, who you're spending time with, what you're drinking, what you're thinking about, where you're spending your time, how you sleep, everything. Everything matters. If you want to reach mastery, then every single thing matters. So that's who it's for. That's the people that it's for. It's about self-reliance and getting to that place where you take the desire to go and get it for yourself, desire from the fire to go and get this for yourself. I'm going to get it for myself, and the programme's just going to help you get there. Very, very simple. How much is it? Great question. When this came through for me at the start, it was like, what do I charge for this? Because I see the programmes online. I don't see that. I hear through my students. The amount of dough balls that are out there charging 20 and 30 grand, for subscriptions and basically bullshit, snake oil, the amount of things that I see myself online with different groups that are basically bringing people in and selling them stuff that doesn't work, and you look at it and you go, all right, okay, I can see what they're up to. Again, this is a money-making exercise. So at the time, my desire, the compassion for mankind, the compassion to help people, once you really get it for yourself, then it's all about paying it forward, then it's all about passing it on, and that's always been the way for me. Now, it does take money to do it. This stuff takes money. I need to eat. I need to basically, provide for my family. I need to provide for the mission. So at that point, like, what is the price? What do we charge, for this product that I absolutely know is more valuable than gold? The value in this, the experience that I've seen people have, you couldn't put a value on it. If I was to say to them before they come in, if you gave me 5 grand for the next 3 hours of this work, and you to basically give them a wee glimpse of what they're going to experience. The way that they walk in, I've had people walk in here, suicide has absolutely been attempted. People have lost everything, and I mean everything, and there's no way back. They're in a place of hopelessness, where they're absolutely, there's no way forward, and they basically want to end it all right there and then. And if you to say to them, give me 5 grand, or give me 10, give me 20 grand. Some people with loads and loads of money. Give me 20 grand, and I will guarantee you in the next 3 hours, you're going to walk out of here with a spring in your step, with a smile in your face, with joy in your heart, reconnected, with purpose, with a desire to go and then fulfill your life's potential, to go and get it for yourself. That would be undervaluing it. There's so much value in this. And that's the tricky part, because when you don't value it properly, then people don't basically invest in it. So the question for me at the time in meditation, like, what do I charge for this? What do I actually charge for this? How do I get the balance? What do I need to do? Now, I've done stuff for free most of all of this life. I still do stuff for free. Every week I still do stuff for free. For the first 23 years, it was all for free. I never charged a penny for it. My intention was to give it away, and I had to stop doing that because people didn't value it. And I was feeling myself getting used a hell of a lot, and people are basically taking the stuff and stealing from me, which didn't work obviously either. So at that point, I had to really start charging money for people to come and run about it. So when I did this, when I came up with the program, straight away in the first meditation, the price came through right away. An online program, all the stuff I've just mentioned, all the videos, all the support of the community, access to me, access to basically everything that we're doing, all the discounts. What is the price for that? And very quickly it came through. It's £1 a day. £1 a day. Now when I presented this to the team straight away, it was like, no, you can't. It's too cheap. People won't value it, and maybe it is too cheap. But for me, and the reason it's not 30 quid a month, the reason it's £1 a day is because that £1 a day is a reminder every single day that you need to do the work every single day. And there's something about Scottish people, and I hope this feeds into the feeds out worldwide to the people that are going to be joining worldwide. If you're giving somebody money every single day, there's a really good chance that you're going to invest in yourself. If you remember when you wake up in the morning time, I'm getting that bastard £1 a day. That bastard. £1 a day. I'm going to invest in myself. It's a memory. It's like an alarm clock, an opportunity clock, as Zig Ziglar would call it. It's an opportunity to remember that £1 a day, every single day, to remind yourself that this is going to take work, and the only way you're going to get to that place you're trying to get to is if you do the work. And that's why it's £1 a day, every single day. There is no discounts. We tried the discount thing last year. It's worth more than £1 a day, obviously. It's £1 a day. You can sign up for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or a year. Dead simple, but it's £1 a day, every single day. And that investment in yourself, and my intention to give you every single thing that I've got so you can go and fulfill your own potential and get every single thing you came here to get, I believe it's the best value in the market just now. There's nothing like it for what you're going to get for £1 a day. So that's the price. The programme is £1 a day. Who's it open to? It's open to everybody. There's no, I'm not going to swear here. There is no drama. There is no anybody that's in it for themselves. They won't be attracted to start with, and they'll be found out very, very quickly. When you join the group, there's very specific rules. There really is. I don't do drama. I don't do noise. I don't do rainbows and unicorns. I really don't. I'm not into the white feather brigade. It's no for me. We're keeping it real. I police it every single day. What's going on in the group. It's not somewhere where you're going on and basically it's keeping it humble. These are people who are basically making their way forward. We're all the same. We're all in the exact same place, the exact same page, the exact same way, making our way forward with the divine, with the tools, with the techniques, with the desire to fulfill our potential. So at that point, it doesn't need embellished. You don't need to exaggerate it. We keep it humble. We keep it nice and simple. We do the work. You know, the question's always the same. Are you doing the work? You don't need to jump on and I'm just out the ice bath. Like, we expect you to be doing that if you need it. We expect you to be doing the breathwork and meditations every single day. You don't need to tell anybody you're doing it. So it's very kind of low key. It's only goodness. There are only good people on about this. And anybody who's ready for that, anybody who's up for that, then the door is open. Absolutely. There's no question about it. We're here to help any way that we can. And I'm excited. You can probably tell that in my voice. I'm excited for what's coming up. And there is a massive wave of expansion coming through the vortex just now. The desire is to take it to the world. That's the plan, is to help as many people as we can. It's universal. I've saw that in some of the corporate groups that I've done, you know, where people from all the world, you know, especially the Asians or the Indians will come in. Dots, not feathers, would come in, and basically they get it. They get the God thing. They get, maybe this country maybe isn't the right place to be. The stuff I'm talking about, I know I can be perceived to be mad. I gave somebody my website yesterday, an elderly man, and I thought, oh my God, if he goes on there and starts seeing me talking about God, he's gonna hang him off my nut. Which is, you know, but again, we need to normalise it. We need to normalise what God is. We need to normalise what meditation is. We need to normalise what intentional living is, and being able to fulfil your potential and to be happy and to sleep well and to be joyful. That's what the program is, you know. And the question is, what is your program? What do you need to do to get to that place every single day? And my intention is to help as many people as I can with that, you know. So that's what the program is. I'm very excited. It's all coming. March 1st it's going to be released to the world. One day to change your life. There are still spaces left. That's going to be a great day. I'm excited for me to watch what comes through because of all the new stuff that's coming about just now. Last year it was all about releasing the program and the inner circle, where we invited, I think there was 40 or 50 there the first time, that very first day. But now I've got a year under our belt. We've got so much experience with the Scottish tour and all the stuff that we did last year, all the free events and the big events and the corporate events, and people coming here. I'm learning every single day, you know. It's constant expansion for me. So I'm excited to see what comes through on One Day to Change Your Life. That's Saturday, March 1st, Newland at Mill Hotel. There's still spaces left. We planned, the room can take 50, I do believe. That's going to be too much. I think 50 is too many, you know. So it's well over half full just now, and the numbers will always be perfect. I always know that, whether there's one person there or whether there's 30 people there, the numbers are always perfect, you know. So I'm excited to see what they're going to get. I'm excited for those that are going to come and join the programme and get on about it. I'm excited for the apprentices that are going to be there. I'm excited for everyone. I'm excited for the inner circle, you know, and what's coming through that just now in terms of how we're all rising together, and we can go anywhere now, from one person to stadiums. Literally, we could basically do a stadium now because of what we've got, because of the work we've got, because of the information and the processes we've now got. We've seen it so many times now what it does to people, you know. So it's going to be an exciting year, and I'm really delighted to kick it off this Saturday, March 1st, One Day to Change Your Life, and then also the programme V2, as I'm not calling it that, but as it's V2, the next version, the expanded version of the programme, getting released to the public, getting released to the world. Onwards and upwards, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in again. For the greatest good always. That's what it's all about. It's all about the light. It's all about the solutions. It's all about trying to help people find their way, no my way, but their way, the way that it's meant to be. Back into balance, back into coherence, back into alignment, back to the way that it's meant to be. That's what it's all about. Love and light. Peace out. Have a great day wherever you are. Thanks for listening, tuning in, and bye for now.